Hey everybody, what's going on? Chris here, otherwise known as CFRacing, and today everybody, the 2022 Formula 1 season just came to a close, so now it is time for all the fun post-season content of me reacting or ranking drivers or reacting to my preseason predictions, which did not end well, I'm going to be honest. Stay tuned for that video. But today, the season ended like a couple hours ago. Verstappen won the championship, and he won in Abu Dhabi. Sebastian Vettel just raced his last race. Somehow, Charles Leclerc finished P2 ahead of Perez, even though that Red Bull car was so much faster this weekend. But anywho, let's take a look at the tiers that I'm going to have, and basically where I'm going to be ranking all of these drivers. So, the worst tier is the GOAT Tiffy tier. I don't think I need to say more. Obviously, he's the GOAT. I mean, I would have put it higher than, like, League of Their Own, but I figured just, you know what, leave it at the bottom because why not? Then there is make way for a young driver. Basically, if you're not good enough, you got to make way for a young driver, let's be honest. Then we have average, which is just a solidly average season. Probably a lot of people are going this tier, along with the good tier, which is just a good season. You performed basically to what I expected you to perform. You weren't great, you weren't bad, you're just good. Then there is top tier, and these are the drivers who did really well, above my expectation, really helped carry their team, and that's why they're in top tier. And then there's League of Their Own, and there's really 1, 2, maybe 3 drivers who can really fit in this tier, and we'll see what really goes on in that tier. And we'll see who will fit there. I mean, these are all my opinions, obviously. So if you guys have any different opinions, I'll leave a link to this tier list in the description down below. I didn't make this tier list. The website wasn't working when I was trying to make one. It kept loading and crashing. So I found this random one. It's got all the drivers, so that's pretty cool. So thanks to this guy. Shout out to whoever you are. I don't even know who it is. I just chose one. But it'll be in the description if you guys want to check this out. And if you guys want me to react to a video of your tier list, like I said, I'll leave a link to this one in the description down below. And then you guys can either tweet at me or like ping me in my Discord, probably Twitter. I'll probably respond more on there just because I want interactions on my Twitter. But yeah, if you guys are new here and enjoy content like this, then hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord. Once again, links in the description. And let's get right into this. And if you guys want to see more like face cam videos of just me reacting to things, let me know because I'm okay with doing these. They're a lot of fun. All right, let's get into the first driver here on this list, and this is Alexander Albon. Let me just pull up the standings real quick, just as a quick reference. I got it on my phone right now, and also it's plugged in because I never remembered to charge it, so that kind of sucks. But Albon had a pretty good season. I believe he scored what, 4 points? Yeah, he scored 4 points in that absolute boat of a Williams, so that's really cool. Good for him. He definitely was good, probably around average, I'd have to say. Definitely helped carry Williams, and he had some really good qualifying performances as well. So I'm going to throw him in the good tier. I'll definitely shuffle around these tiers at the end because I'm just going to throw guys in there, throw guys out of there. Honestly, I'm probably going to throw Albon in the average tier because it's really what I expected him to do. I expected him to beat GOAT Tiffy, and I mean, he only scored 2 more points than him. Granted, in a Williams, 2 points is quite a lot, but yeah, we're going to throw him in the average tier, but maybe I'll move him up to good later. Fernando Alonso, he was really, really good this year. I know the points don't show it. He finished 11 points actually behind Esteban Ocon at the end of it. But he could have won the championship if his car didn't blow up a million times. At least that's what Alonso was thinking. He probably would have finished maybe around the Lando Norris range of points with like 122, maybe even higher than that. So Fernando Alonso was really good, and if his car didn't blow up at least like 13 times this year, he would probably be up there for best of the rest. So I'm going to throw Alonso in the top tier category. Can't wait to see what he does in Aston Martin next year. I think he's going to destroy Lance Stroll. Valtteri Bottas, 49 points, finishes P10 in the standings. It was a very good year to start for Bottas, but then it really fell off once that Alfa Romeo car started to be really bad and stuff. So, I mean, it was a good season for him. I wouldn't say it was top tier because he really ended his qualifying streak, and he could have done a lot more in that car, but he also once again did a lot in that car. So I'm gonna throw him as the first guy in the good tier. It was a good season, not bad, not top tier, but good season for Bottas, and good for him finishing P10. Pierre Gasly at 23 points in that AlphaTauri, or in a dismal season for them. They were terrible. Like the car was just really bad. Like Gasly scored more points in Monza 2020 than he did in this whole season. So it was just not a good season for Pierre, but then again, he still basically doubled the points of his teammates. So I mean, you can't really say it was bad for Pierre. So once again, I'm also going to throw him in the good tier, and maybe next year he'll be much better with Alpine, so we'll see about that. Lewis Hamilton. This is a tough one to say because he was beaten by a teammate in equal machinery, and that teammate was not Nico Rosberg. So that's pretty cool. He actually lost to a teammate for the first time, like I said, since Nico Rosberg. But before that, it was Jenson Button, I think, in like 2011 or 2012, something like that. So Lewis Hamilton, he's so good. 100% going to throw him in top tier. I will not put him in League of Their Own, because, you know, he did not win a race. George Russell won a race this year. Did not get pole this year at all. George Russell got a pole this year. So definitely going to throw him in top tier, probably ahead of Alonso. And I know all you Lewis Hamilton fans are going to be in the comment section right now saying he deserves League of Their Own because he was developing that car for half the season. Well, if he was developing that car for half the season, then the second half of the season, he should have done more. Lewis Hamilton had a good season, definitely going in top tier. Maybe next year, if that car is up there, he'll be in League of Their Own. Nicholas Latifi. We have a perfect tier for him. This is going to be GOAT Tifi tier. I believe he's going to be the only one in this tier. He's not an F1 anymore. He's not going to be an F1 anymore. Hopefully he goes to IndyCar so I can watch him race. That'll be really cool. But Nicholas Latifi, it was not a good season for him. Like, De Vries came in for one race and basically outscored him in points. The only reason Latifi's higher than him is because he actually raced 2 times, so his second finish puts him up there even higher than what De Vries would put him. But go Tifi. I was going to say League of Their Own. I mean, he technically is a league of his own, but not in the good way. Charles Leclerc. This is a pretty easy one, I have to say. I'm going to go with League of Their Own. If you guys watched that Abu Dhabi race, he finished second. He beat Sergio Perez in a car that arguably probably should have not even been on the podium, or at least finished third, maybe at the highest. And at points in that race, he was actually catching Verstappen. I know Verstappen was doing some crazy tire management, but I mean, so was Leclerc. But he did a one-stop and was somehow up there. And we all know how bad that Ferrari tire wear is. And trust me, guys, I'm a Ferrari fan. You see my little Ferrari shirt here. It's been a rough season as a Ferrari fan. And I mean, it started off well. Leclerc had 3 wins. I believe he had like 9 poles or something like that. He was so good in qualifying this year, and absolutely nobody can touch him in qualifying when that car was on it. So Leclerc's definitely getting League of his own, but I could see you guys only putting one guy in League of their own, but I'm going to throw Leclerc in there because, I mean, Sainz was his teammate, and Sainz wasn't even close. So yeah, Mick Schumacher. Not a good season for Mick. A lot of crash damage. He scored 12 points to Kevin Magnussen's 25. So, I mean, roughly half as well. Sort of like Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly, except Haas just scored slightly more points. So, it's not really a good season. I really don't want to put him in make way for a young driver. You know what? Since this is really his rookie season, because last year was a complete write-off, I'm going to throw Mick in average. I did expect Kevin Magnussen to be better than him this year, so I guess this is sort of what I expected from Mick. You know, he did good, had some pretty solid performances in Canada, Silverstone, Austria, and then that was really about it. But those couple races really showed like what talent Mick really has, and it sucks that he's leaving Formula 1 this year, but I can see why he's leaving, so I'm going to put him in the average category. Average, like I said before, is not amazing. It's not bad. You're just there, and there's probably other guys like a Nico Hülkenberg who would do better. Lando Norris. This is a really tough one because he was the best of the rest this year. Basically the only other guy out of all these drivers that weren't a Ferrari, Mercedes, or Red Bull driver to get a podium this year. I'm honestly going to put him, I really want to put him in between League of Their Own and top tier, but I'm going to throw him in top tier because I think there really should be only 2 drivers in League of Their Own. Lando Norris is going to be in top tier, but I can see how you guys would argue him in League of Their Own because he really was in a league of his own in that midfield this year. Like, yeah, he had battles with Alonso and Ocon and all those guys, but overall, he was just better than them. He had much better qualifyings than all of them. He was racing way faster than all of them. So, Lando Norris, he had a great season. I hope a McLaren gives them, like, at least a podium contention car next year. I mean, it'll be tough with the Red Bulls, Ferraris, and the Mercedeses, but, I mean, if Lando can do it, if anyone can do it, it's really Lando in that midfield. Maybe Alonso as well, but, I mean, I just want to see Lando perform well because he's got the talent. He just needs a car to prove it. Esteban Ocon. I think his season was actually quite overrated. He scored 92 points in that Alpine compared to Alonso's 81. So he did beat a Fernando Alonso, but did he really beat Fernando Alonso? That's really the question because he wasn't really better than him. And in qualifying, Alonso beat him. In the races, I believe Ocon beat him, but Alonso had so many more standout performances than him. And if Alonso's car, like I said, didn't blow up a million times, Alonso would have probably been the best of the rest in the midfield this year. So Ocon, I hate to do it, but I'm going to throw him in the top of the good tier. I think he just performed basically like just slightly above average to where that car was. And then Fernando Alonso was just like way up there, performing way better. Sorry, Ocon fans. I mean, I'm sure you guys can agree that Alonso was better this year. But I would not be surprised if you guys put him back to back, because they were definitely the closest pairing this year. Sergio Perez finishing 305 points. 3 behind Charles Leclerc to finish P3 in the driver standings. Arguably probably should have finished P2 in the standings, but then again, Leclerc's car did blow up way more times than Perez's car, so Leclerc probably should have been up there anyway. Perez, he won 2 races this year, Monaco and Singapore, street race merchant. Probably going to throw him at the end of top tier, arguably the beginning of good tier. It was an okay season for Perez. I would have probably thrown him in the top of top tier, but then I heard that, you know, he crashed purposely in Monaco qualifying to give himself a P2, so Buddy straight up cheated, so he's getting top tier, and I'm not really the biggest Perez fan, so we're going to throw him down there. Maybe slight bias, but whatever. Ooh, this is going to be a rough one. Daniel Ricciardo. Hate to do it to you, my guy, but I gotta throw him in, make way for a young driver. Like, if your teammate scores 122 points and you score 37, and you're an 8-time race winner, like, that's not good. That's not good, Daniel. I hate to do it to him because he's got the talent. We saw it in Mexico, but him and that car just don't work together, and it sucks to say because he's been very good in his career, except these last 2 years, so I hope he comes back, I'm going to be honest. I mean, happy that he's gone for a year. Also not happy about that. It's like mixed emotions. But if he can come back to a team, maybe like, I mean, Red Bull apparently, and just somehow be like even Perez level, he'll go up in the top tier. Like probably. But right now, he's getting destroyed by his much younger teammate, so he's going in the make way for a younger driver category. George Russell, this is a tough one as well because he did win a race in that because he did win a race in that Mercedes, and he did get pole with that Mercedes. But I also don't think he was in League of Their Own. I think Lewis was the better driver this season throughout the entire year. And the reason I'm saying that is because, like I said before, we know that Lewis Hamilton was developing that car for almost half the season, while George Russell was just like, hey, P5, you know, oh, I have good luck, I'll move up to like P3, and he got a lot of podiums and stuff. So it's hard to say. I'm going to throw Russell ahead of Hamilton in top tier because he got a race win and a pole position this year. But, I mean, you can swap these guys either way. But I'm going to throw George Russell ahead because he got that win and the podium, and the win and the pole, which, you know, really stands out in my books. Carlos Sainz finishing P5 with 246 points behind George Russell. Ooh, rough season for Carlos Sainz. Started off really bad. The second half was really good for Sainz once the car was, for some reason, designed towards his driving style instead of Charles Leclerc's, which don't know if I would have done that if I was Ferrari, but it was okay. Definitely, I'm going to throw him at the end. I'm going to throw him at the beginning of good. Honestly, I'm going to throw Perez at the beginning of good because I really rank these two very similar to each other. I think Sainz had a better season. I don't even know if Sainz had a better season than Perez, to be honest. Let's keep him like that in the good tier. I feel like that's kind of fair. I know Perez won 2 races this year, but like Verstappen won 15 in that car, so you should at least be winning 2 stupid races. Come on, man. So Sainz, he won a race, which was probably Leclerc's race to win anyway. So yeah, I'll leave him in the top of good tier. Maybe next year if they develop the car even more to him, he'll be better, but I don't know. Lance Stroll. Ooh, this is another tough one because Vettel scored 37 points and Lance Stroll scored 18 points. Once again, basically double. It's sort of like how these number ones, like Gasly compared to Tsunoda, or like, what was it? Magnussen to Schumacher. It seems like the number ones double the points tally of the number twos, and that's kind of average, right? So, Lance Stroll, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad. I'm not going to say make way for a young driver, but I really don't know for Lance. Like, that, I don't even know what car was better. Was it the Aston Martin? Was it the Haas? Who really knows? I'm going to throw Lance in the average category because at the end of the year, when that Aston Martin could actually pick up points, he did pick up points, so I'm pretty happy about that, but he's going in average. It's not really that good. Yuki Tsunoda scoring 12 points to Pierre Gasly's 23, just under half. Sort of just like Lance Stroll is really not that good. Their teammates were just completely outperforming them in pretty much every single scenario, especially at the beginning of the year. Yuki was actually on par with Gasly, but then it didn't end up that way. So probably also going to throw Yuki in the average tier. I'm going to throw him ahead of Mick, probably behind Lance. Just that AlphaTauri was not a good car all season. So actually I'll throw him ahead of Lance because I think the Aston Martin by the end of the year was actually a better car. So we'll put Lance in average, Yuki Tsunoda ahead of him in average. Max Verstappen, 15 wins on the year. This 100%, oh, let's flip that. 100%, he's going in the top of League of Their Own because he was in a league of his own. He probably could have like arguably won the Constructors Championship by himself if Ferrari wasn't there. So he was just so good, man. He was unbelievable. You don't just win 15 races and say that's pure luck or like, you know, whatever, all that stuff that all these Hamilton fans are saying. Max Verstappen was so good this season. I hope he doesn't replicate that again because it'll be really boring if he keeps winning 15 races. But if anyone can do it, it's probably him or Leclerc, I'm going to be honest. So Verstappen was league of his own, best driver all season. Maybe not in qualifying. I'd say I'd give that to Leclerc, but Verstappen was just so good. Sebastian Vettel. What a surprise this was because the beginning of the season, Vettel was not very good and was not gelling with that Aston Martin. But once that car started getting upgrades and more upgrades and getting actually better and better, Vettel really started to shine. And I'm not going to throw him in top tier because he didn't really perform sort of all season like these other drivers really did. Definitely, though, going to throw him in the top of the good tier. This may be some Vettel bias because, you know, it's his last race. Got to feel bad for the guy. I'm not feeling bad for the guy. You know, he's a Formula 1 driver. But, like, I'm happy for Seb, and he had such a good end to the season. Definitely top a good tier. Could be top tier. You know, he did score 37 points in that car. He tied Daniel Ricciardo in a car that should not have tied Daniel Ricciardo. So, good job, Sebastian Vettel. I'm very happy to see him performing well. And, I mean, if he can come back, that would be awesome. If he doesn't come back, then what a legacy he had in Formula 1. But Vettel, great season. Aston Martin really screwed him out of some more points. So, you know, screw it. I'm throwing him in top tier. I got to do it. I have to do it. I got to put Fernando and Seb and Lewis all beside each other because they all performed very good this season. Zhou Guang Yu, 6 points compared to Bottas's, what was it, 49? Yeah, 49 points. 43 points behind him. Not very good, I have to say. But that Alfa Romeo car was really good at the beginning of the season, and that's when Zhou was just starting to learn the ropes of Formula 1. And really try to perform as the best as he can. And by the end of the year, Zhou was out-qualifying Bottas a lot. I think it was, like 16 to, 6 or something like that. And Zhou actually got a lot of qualifyings up on Bottas. So, very impressive, because we know he's a really good qualifier. But Zhou, I'm going to throw him in average as well. It was actually a really average season. Like I said, nothing crazy. He didn't do anything, really rookie-esque that made me think, yeah, that's why he's a rookie. Like, nothing really... You know what I mean? Like, he didn't crash that often like Mick. Didn't do anything like that. So it was actually a pretty solid season. I'm going to throw him ahead of Yuki. I mean, as a rookie season goes, not bad. He's obviously going to win Rookie of the Year because he was the only rookie this year. But, yeah, we're going to throw him in the average category. And last, but not least, Kevin Magnussen. My guy got Haas's first ever pole position, and I am so happy about that because Gunther Steiner, I mean, you're going to see this in Drive to Survive. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like Gunther's boat, like with the captain of Kevin Magnussen. It's going to be awesome. Where would I put him, though? He scored 25 points to Mick Schumacher's 12. 10 of those 25 points, though, were in the first race in Bahrain. So after that, Haas really didn't do that much more. Probably going to throw him in the good tier. Probably ahead. Did he finish ahead of Gasly? He did finish ahead of Gasly. So I'm going to throw him ahead of Gasly there. And I think that's honestly a pretty good place to end the tier list here. We have Verstappen and Leclerc in League of Their Own, which I don't think anybody's going to argue about. Top tier was Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Alonso, and Vettel. Good tier was Perez, Sainz, Ocon, Bottas, Magnussen, and Pierre Gasly. Average was Albon, Zhou, Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, Mick. make way for a young driver. I hate to do it, but it's Daniel Ricciardo, and Nicholas Latifi goes in the GOAT TV category. If you guys do have a different tier list than me, leave it in the comment section down below, and also remember to tweet at me or ping me in my Discord, links in the description, your tier list, and I'll try to react to them in a video. So with that being said, guys, if you're new here, enjoy the content like this, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord, and links in the description down below, and I will see you guys all next time.